Following protests against Citizenship Amendment Act across Northeast, Manipur became the fourth state in the region, along with Nagaland, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, to come under the inner line permit regime.
No CAP! Yes, ILP! No CAP! Yes, ILP!
Expeditious measures are being taken to implement ILP in Meghalaya. Come February 15, anyone visiting Dimapur will have to have ILP to enter the commercial hub of Nagaland. Known for its scenic beauty and lustrous landscape, Meghalaya attracts a large number of tourists every year. This was also mentioned by Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant, who mentioned that Meghalaya needs to tap the tourism sector to boost the entrepreneurial ecosystem of the state.
Culture, it has unique art, and how do we make it the center of the most rich and famous people to come to Meghalaya for their holidays and get a high return on travel and tourism products?
However, with the state adopting the resolution of implementing ILP, which will impose restrictions on the entry of outsiders into the hill state, there are apprehensions that tourism might take a hit and the cost will have to be borne by those in the rural areas. According to Alan West Khargonkar, a local entrepreneur who ventured into tourism business in 2014, the state government should consult stakeholders in framing rules and see to it that the rules are more flexible.
On an average, there is an occupancy rate of 75% each year. 30% of this are people coming from Assam. So if ILP is implemented in the state of Meghalaya, the state has to take into consideration this 30%. Because for the fact is that people coming from Assam, they keep on coming every week also. So if there is a system that is not too convenient to them, so we may lose this 30% of the clients coming from Assam. So out of 75%, we are left only with 45%, 40%, which can be difficult for us to survive in Sora, or it can be in Molenong, or it can be in Dauki. You must also remember that the tourism sector in the state of Meghalaya, 80% is rural based. What I mean to say is that this 80% is a process that has been taken part by the common man, like the boatman of Dauki, homestay owner in Molenong, guest house in Sora. These are common people. They might have taken loan, they might have spent their own saving. So if 30% is being cut, it will affect the operation. So whatever, if ILP is implemented in the state of Meghalaya, there's only one thing, that state government should consult stakeholders in framing rules that are more flexible, that are more friendly to people coming from outside. In today's world of technology, I think it's possible, but all the nitty-gritty of how you should do it, I think state government should consult stakeholders in framing such rules. I think especially people in rural areas, with ILP there will be a slight problem because they need volume.
Okay.
So when I talk volume, I'm not talking about mass tourism. It can be a good number of good clients coming in volume. So I'm apprehensive of the idea of ILP might affect the inflow of tourists to rural areas. So this can be a problem.
However, Chief Minister Conrad Sangma is hoping that technology will come to his aid. His government is planning to introduce online application system that will ensure security of the people while keeping things easy for the tourists.
Well, if ILP is implemented in Meghalaya, the first thing which we'll do is to ensure that there is an online application system. We want to ensure that there is a high-end technology that's available. that will minimize human intervention, and that will minimize the inconvenience to the tourists and people who might come to the state. So therefore, I think with these kind of technologies that will come in, online application, online QR codes coming into the mobile phone, the permits or the registrations coming into your mobile phones, being able to be scan them as you come into this to the state, and and this information and the scanning being available in all the police smartphones that officials use, or police or government officials use. I think it's a very secure system, a very high tech system which we propose to do, and I think it will be for the interest and benefit of not just the state and its people, but even for the tourists, because it will allow the government to ensure that information is there on where they are, so that they can take steps to ensure that everybody is safe. So I think high-end technology is something that will be used and should be used in all the states of the Northeast, in fact.
Meghalaya is also home to a huge non-tribal population. Along with security, the proposal of implementing ILP has also led to a fear psychosis among the non-tribal that their interests will be overlooked. However, Confederation of Meghalaya Social Organization, a conglomeration of various pressure groups of the state, is of the opinion that the idea of ILP is not built on communal perspective and will protect the indigenous people of the state.
If you examine properly, the ILP movement in Meghalaya is not built on communal perspective. The very basic of demanding ILP is that we will be able to protect ourselves. It's not a racist movement. It's purely a patriotic movement. We do not demand ILP because we hate others. We demand ILP so that we will protect ourselves. I think this message has to go into the mindset of people. And there is one thing that has been misunderstanding by non-indigenous people in the state of Meghalaya. They think that if ILP is implemented, they will be chased away. That's will not happening, because ILP will only prevent the newcomers. It will not affect these non-indigenous people who have already settled here for 3, 4, 5 generations. And actually, it will not even affect those people who has get like a big ration card. It will not affect those, because they are already part and parcel of the state of Meghalaya. So I think this misconception must be cleared, and I do not see that. I do not see any reason why we should not accept ILP, because I do not see any valid reason that we should not accept ILP.
In Manipur, ILP was brought into effect from January 1st, and the state received around 3,000 applications in the first 14 days. With the state being added in the ILP regime, it got exempted from the Citizenship Amendment Act. While the demand for implementation of ILP has been an agenda for majority of the Meitei community, the definition of indigenous person of the state remains unclear to many. The All Naga Student Association Manipur is of the opinion that the definition of who is a migrant and who is not reflected in the ILP guidelines.
The guidelines talk about the indigenous persons or the permanent residents of the state of Manipur. But there is no clear-cut definition on the permanent resident of the state of Manipur, and there is no definition on the indigenous persons of the state. So actually, if we talk about the indigenous, it has to be defined historically in the state. Manipur is a composite phenomena of the conglomeration of distinct people with a different history. So that is one which is very vague, and that is confusing. And base year, there should be a base year to define who is migrant and who is the permanent resident. But base year is not reflected in the guidelines, and there is no monitoring of exit mechanism. Exit monitoring mechanism is required. Yes, there is a permit that is to be issued to the migrants, but how do we monitor the exit? That is the question. How do we deport them? Whether they really went back after the period of after the expiry of their period of permission.
However, government representatives mentioned that the concern is more about the labor force which comes from outside the state, and a different pass system has been implemented to address the issue.
See, you're talking about illegal migrants. What is meant by illegal migrants? As per the Constitution of India, people can travel anywhere. So you can't call them illegal. We are only regulating. Okay. So if you talk about illegal migrants, you're talking about the foreigners who might be coming from Myanmar, Bangladesh and all. So they anyway are not eligible to get ILP. They are dealt under the Foreigners Act. So unless they got a valid passport and a visa, they will not be called any legal entity here. So we are mixing up two things. Illegal immigrants that come from other countries, they are the people who require a passport and a valid visa. And if they doesn't have, they will be arrested and put into bars, and legal action will be initiated as provided in the Foreigners Act. As far as the Indians are concerned, who are coming from outside, I can't call them illegal, but they are coming here, so they just require an entry pass into the state.
The Chief Secretary also hinted towards implementation of the NRC that will decide the cut-off year and decide whether one is a Manipuri resident or not.
Basically, the opposition is raising about what is the definition of indigenous, what is the definition of permanent residency. See, so far whatever identity establishment that has been given by the government agencies in Manipur are taken as a well-established document for the time being. There is a demand for the cut-off year by some of the people. What is the cut-off year to call somebody who is a resident of Manipur? This will be decided. Government has already made it very clear. Our Chief Minister has made it very clear that as and when the NRC mechanism is taken up, so that will decide what is the cut-off year to be called, whether it is a Manipuri resident or a non-Manipuri resident. So we have to wait. See, as we implement the ILP system, we also will understand more difficulties, practical difficulties. As we roll out properly, many issues will also come up. All these issues will be addressed in the due course of time. It's not that everything is a ready-made cut cake there. So the way ILP has come into Manipur, it will take little time to establish some more modalities that will be required. But government is ready to make certain changes depending on the practical difficulties that we face.
While many fear that the implementation of ILP will have adverse effects on the economy, civil societies, however, share a different opinion.
Definitely, when there was before it was free movement for all economic migrants, both from India or from outsiders. We really don't know who is coming in, who is going out. We never check and balance for the last 50-60 years. But now that there is a small regulations introducing now under the state government, therefore I think it will definitely give a sense of security to the people as well as to those who are coming in to Manipur. And considering the economic perspective, I think there is no restriction at all. The only restriction is they cannot possess land, and elsewhere they can come in, they can go out. The only thing is they have to register themselves, and it has to be on record of the government of Manipur. I think that's the only issue. Nobody restrict anyone to come into Manipur and do business, whatever it is, if it is legal. So I think that will go on, and definitely I don't think it will give a negative impact in economy.
Unlike Manipur, Dimapur, the commercial hub of Nagaland, keeps buzzing with activities throughout the day. The district gets numerous businessmen of all segments who travel to the city on a regular basis. It was until December 9, 2019 that Dimapur was the only district of Nagaland that was not under the ILP regime. However, the state cabinet has approved February 15 for extension of ILP to the commercial district. This has given rise to speculations that it may affect the economy of the state and the poorer section will be at the receiving end.
जैसा सुनने में आया है हाल फिलहाल की दिसंबर से ILP यहाँ इम्प्लीमेंट किया जा रहा है। ठीक है, नो डाउट करना चाहिए, लेकिन इससे बिजनेस काफ़ी इफेक्ट पड़ेगा, क्योंकि यहाँ एयरपोर्ट है, रेलवे स्टेशन है, बाहर के लोग मैक्सिमम यहाँ कुछ प्रोडक्शन तो है नहीं, मैक्सिमम बाहर से आता है, आसाम से आता है। जैसे एग्जांपल आप वेजिटेबल्स पकड़ लीजिए, सारा सब्जी वगैरह आसाम से आता है, कुछ भी हो सारा रॉ मटेरियल्स वगैरह भी आसाम से आता है। तो जो छोटे लोग हैं जो ला के सब्जी वगैरह बेचते हैं उनको काफ़ी दिक्कत होगा, और दीमापुर में महंगाई भी काफ़ी बढ़ जाएगा, क्योंकि वो ILP ला के बनाएगा, उसके बाद आके वो सामान बेचेगा, इससे फ़ायदा वो आएगा नहीं। और सारा यहाँ क्या होगा, मैक्सिमम पॉपुलेशन सब आसाम में जाके, लाहौरी जान हो गया, वहाँ जाके परचेसिंग करेगा, इससे आसाम गवर्नमेंट को रेवेन्यू मिलेगा, नागालैंड गवर्नमेंट का बिजनेस डल हो जाएगा। इसलिए मेरे तरफ से तो एडवाइस यही है कि ILP करना चाहिए, लेकिन जो पुराने लोग हैं यहाँ पहले से ठहरे हुए हैं, उनके लिए कुछ उपाय, सोल्यूशन निकालना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट को, नागालैंड गवर्नमेंट को।
मेरे हिसाब से मेरा जो व्यू पॉइंट है, जितना भी बिजनेसमैन है डिमापुर का, सब बैकिंग में एक नागा लेके रखा हुआ है, जो ओपनली शो नहीं करता है, कुछ ना कुछ देता है। अभी क्या है कि सबको एक हर प्लेन आदमी को एक बाप पकड़ के बैठना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। ये एक इशू हो गया। और छोटा छोटा बिजनेसमैन जो है बाहर से आता है, सुबह आता है, थोड़ा सब्जी उब्जी बेच के जाता है, वो लोग क्या करेगा। हम लोग तो यहाँ पे रह रहे हैं, चलो किसी को मतलब किसी का अंडर में रह के किसी को मतलब हेड बना के रह लिया, तो वो लोग क्या करेगा जिसका दिन गुजारा चलता है। तो चलो मान लो छोटा मोटा रिक्शा वाला, ठेला वाला, सब बाहर से जो सब्जी उब्जी बेचने के लिए आता है, तो ये लोग का क्या होगा, छोटा मोटा मतलब इसमें क्या होगा कि छोटा मोटा आदमी लोग का थोड़ा हैम्पर तो होगा। बाकी जो बिग प्लेयर्स है वो तो जैसा पहले था अभी भी वैसे ही हो रहेगा, उसको कोई इशू नहीं है। But the main affected peoples are middle and lower class.
Goods in Nagaland are brought through 4 routes: Dimapur, Mokokchung, Mon and Wokha. Yet, Dimapur is the junction for 80% of the goods transferred to the rest of the state. However, representatives of the Nagaland Chamber of Commerce and Industry believe that this can open avenues to replicate models practiced in other countries.
I think with the proper guidelines and regulations, it should not in any way hamper the business transaction or business activities in Dimapur. Because let's take the case of certain European countries where you have a lesser population but it's a popular holiday destination. So people normally cross over to the borders in the morning with a pass and then they go the whole day and then go back to their respective country in the evening. So those huge, we can learn those kinds of modalities from various parts of the country and then replicate it in Nagaland in the context of Naga people, in the context of Dimapur and in the context of our existing situations. Then I think I do not see any problem or implementation of ILP in Dimapur hampering the business activities in Nagaland. Nagaland is still underpopulated. So we talk about our outsiders taking advantage of our labor market. But the fact is, we don't have laborers. For instance, a contractor wants hundreds or 200 laborers continuously working for a certain project. We cannot think about putting up hundreds and 200s of Naga laborers together to work for a particular project or something like that for a stretch of months and 2 months.
The Kohima Chamber of Commerce and Industry looks at this as an opportunity for entrepreneurs from Nagaland, and rather than being dependent on others, believes in taking matters in their own hands.
I feel it is high time that we come to the realization that our economy depends on us, that we cannot complain nor we cannot blame, the non-locals for doing good business and overrunning the local business, because at the end of the day we find that we are the only one patronizing them. So we have to come to the realization that we have to do it ourselves, not depending on anyone else. And we also have to come to know we also should be like more focused on what we are doing, and then be a little sincere, be a little determined, because usually even when we take up business, like when certain thing comes up and then we are not able to tackle it, we just leave it half done, halfway, and then like we lose the spirit to continue. So I think if we persevere, and if we also set our mind and focus on our goals, that we are going to stand on this, I think we will be able to do it, because we have more vigor than we are more hardworking, if at all we are willing. So I think it's time that our people also realize that we should take things into our own hand and stop depending on others, and be a little determined. Yeah, so that is what I would like to encourage the younger generation who are willing to take up business and entrepreneurship.
Amid the ongoing debates over the implementation of ILP in Meghalaya, Manipur and Dimapur, Assam Rights Group, Assam Public Works batted for one ILP in Northeast. He also met Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma on December 2019 and requested him to raise the issue with the centre. He also met Biplab Kumar Sharma, Chairman Clause 6A Committee on December 18, 2019 and requested him to add 2 lines in his report that will mention that in order to safeguard the interests of the northeastern states, inner line permit should be introduced in Assam with immediate effect.
Assam, the northeast, is facing a huge problem for like illegal immigrants, and you can say the jihadis, the terrorism, everything we are facing. So in that part, we think that this is the best way to save the northeastern states, including Assam. So we think this is the first benefits we'll get, that to block the illegal immigrants entering India, northeast, Assam and northeast. So we are saying that the in-island permit should be in the chicken neck of the Assam-Bengal border. So anyone who wants to come as a tourist, just by drop there, it will hardly take 1 or 2 hours, and then they can enter. So we don't think that the tourism will be affected for this, because we have some other examples in Arunachal Pradesh. Tourism is going on, because there also they need a permit is there. We can say the example of Bhutan, we can take an example. So tourism is good there also, they are doing good business in tourism. So we think that Assam will be also good in tourism, but it will not affect the tourism. From our side, what we are thinking now. So first we are waiting for the committee to submit the report. As soon as the committee submits the report, within 15 days, we will move Supreme Court. We will move Supreme Court and we will request Supreme Court to give an order. We will try to bring an order from the Supreme Court for the implementation of the one inner line permit for the northeastern regions. So we see, we have full hope on the committee headed by Honorable Biplab Kumar Sharma sir. And secondly, after the report, we will approach Supreme Court after 15 days.